Let's call this meeting to order, please. Everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Here.
Present.
Rocher. Tuesday.
Here.
Raiders.
Here.
Monkhauser.
Here.
Lewis.
Here.
Hernandez.
Here.
Four established.
Any amendments to tonight's agenda? No presentations or public hearings. Do we have any citizen comments on items that are on the agenda this evening? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Lewis.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Raiders.
Aye.
Monkhauser.
Aye.
Coe.
Aye.
Hernandez.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'll entertain a motion to authorize the purchase of 3 vehicles in an amount not to exceed $140,240.46.
So moved. Second.
Comments, questions? Roll.
How about Pro?
Seconded.
So that's it.
First, second.
Comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Raiders.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Monkhauser.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Hernandez.
Aye.
Coe.
Aye.
Motion passes.
There's an MFT compliance review on here. Do we not need to vote on it? I don't see a motion for that.
Correct. It's an informational item.
Any questions or comments on the MFT compliance review? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve a resolution authorizing acceptance of a bid from Deconstruction Inc. for the paving of parking lots and access drives at Bristol Bay and Riverfront Parks, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
So moved.
Comments, questions? Yes.
I was at the riverfront this weekend, and I will tell you that if there were the opportunity to have the portion in front of the brand new park, which was filled with children the entire weekend, festival or not only would it improve the access to the park, but the festivals that we have down the riverfront might have the opportunity to have a lot more safe parking. Mr. Tollefson was generous enough to allow us to let people park at their own risk. But I will tell you that if we spend a little bit more money on the paving aspects of the riverfront park, I think the potential down there is getting more and more. You can actually taste it now with that new playground there and the seating area around it. Literally, there was people there the entire weekend. Even with the amount of flooding, that whole area to the east of the bridge was insane. And then having 2 and sometimes 3 children involved in soccer, with the addition of the parking lot that Go For It Sports allowed us to construct, they have an amazing facility, and I think it would be a disservice to them to not finish the job in the small lot that we have back there, because now that they have that access, the ability to allow the elder generation to visit their young children's games from the back, and to keep all of us young, sprightly individuals parking at the school, splitting it up has definitely minimized traffic over there, and I think we're going to have a lot less problems and complaints from the entire area, and we'll be basically completing the area that Go For It Sports spent all the money on, and we won't be ruining their driveway by grabbing gravel and bringing it over. So I was excited to hear that we were talking about doing this, and I think it's going to be an excellent addition to both facilities.
Anyone else?
People still complain, Joe.
Oh yeah,
Just so you know.
heard that.
Roll call.
Lewis.
Aye.
Monkhauser.
Aye.
Wilczewski.
Aye.
Hernandez.
Aye.
Coe.
Aye.
Raiders.
Aye.
Lewis.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'll entertain a motion to approve a participation agreement between the city and the Yorkville Area Chamber of Commerce for the Riverfest special event that will be held on July 13 and 14, 2018, and authorize the city administrator to execute.
Second.
Comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Monkhauser.
Aye.
Wojciechowski,
Aye.
Hernandez,
Aye.
Coe,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Rulis,
Aye.
Solicitor.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I will entertain a motion to approve an ordinance amending the code of ordinances, providing for liquor control and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
So moved.
Second.
Comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Wojciechowski,
Aye.
Hernandez,
Aye.
Coe,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Rulis,
Aye.
Solicitor,
Aye.
Montezor.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I will turn it over to Alderman Peters for the Public Works Committee report.
All right, I make a motion to authorize the posting of the draft ADA transition plan to seek public comment over a minimum of a 30-day period.
Second.
Comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Carlos Ramirez.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There was a lot of red dots in that plan, boy. Is this an unfounded mandate, unfunded mandate, I assume? They're telling us to do it, we gotta do it, and it's gonna cost us based on that price list. Each one looked rather expensive.
It is an unfunded mandate from, I don't know what year the actual law was passed requiring us to do this.
Is there a timeline by which we have to complete it?
No, you just have to certify that you will complete it. you know.
Sometime?
Yes, and so our plan is to complete them as we repave roads adjacent to these sidewalks, which is what the law currently allows, and that's sufficient under the plan.
Because I saw the price list for each individual repair, and I saw all the red dots, and my head about exploded.
Well, now that we have this plan, are we mandated to do it when we work on that road that's adjacent?
We're actually required to do that now. So we need to service projects, so we are required to do that.
So we have an active inventory of where all these transitions that need to be improved are, and then we're just certifying we'll follow the law as we're required to.
Anyone else?
Sure.
Yes.
Just to follow up on that, like last year when we did Walsh, they basically took out everyone and changed, even if they weren't completely that, they,
Made
you
it
know,
compliant.
you'll see it, they put the armed forces up and make it seem.
So the most ADA accessible neighborhood in Yorkville right now is Whispering Meadows.
Yeah.
You don't even have roads yet.
That's happening.
It's happening. Well, and that's what I guess surprised me, that even like the newer subdivisions are all non-compliant.
They changed since the newer subdivisions were there.
Of course they would. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. All right.
Roll call, please.
Hernandez,
Aye.
Coe,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Rulis,
Aye.
Solicitor,
Aye.
Montezor,
Aye.
Wojciechowski.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, I make a motion to authorize staff to issue a request for proposals for repiping of existing water main and demolition of the well number 3 building.
Comments or questions? Alex? Nobody? Roll call, please.
Coe,
Aye.
Peters,
Aye.
Rulis,
Aye.
Solicitor,
Aye.
Montezor,
Aye.
Wojciechowski,
Aye.
Hernandez.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, we have no other committee reports or park board. Moving on to Planning and Zoning Commission. I'll entertain a motion to approve an ordinance granting an accessory structure location variance for the property located at 515 West Madison Street for a detached garage and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Peters,
Aye.
Rulis,
Aye.
Solicitor,
Aye.
Montezor,
Aye.
Wojciechowski,
Aye.
Hernandez,
Aye.
Coe.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, next I'll entertain a motion to authorize staff to notify Kendall County that the city council does not have any objections to the rezoning petition of, what is it, SAAR, SAR? We have a second.
Second.
Comments or questions? No objections? Roll call, please.
Herders,
Aye.
Chirilis,
Aye.
Lozano,
Aye.
Funkasser,
Aye.
Lushewski,
Aye.
Hernandez,
Aye.
Vogt.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
No city council report, any city clerk's report, any community and liaison reports.
Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Reader.
Two things. Number one, thanks to Parks and Rec again for the assistance at the festival this week on the riverfront. I think every year it gets better and better and better, not just because we all know what our roles are, but because more and more people want to volunteer. So I'm kind of excited with the future of the riverfront. Now that the park's there, the place is overflowing with activity. And in my own layman's terms, it was awesome. Secondly, I just wanted to give a quick update on the National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month proclamation. As of this morning, we're now in 7 states, 6 counties, and 110 cities. So I'm pretty proud of that.
I was leaving work today, and I heard the guy on the radio saying, I don't even know what station it was, whatever my guys have on at work. They said, I was in Yorkville at the Summer Solstice Festival. He's getting ready to play a Tom Petty song. And he said, I watched some band that played a whole half hour of Tom Petty covers.
Corey Chisel, you're the guy that you gave the key to the city to.
Oh, is it Corey?
He came down with a bunch of friends. First off, he brought a guy named Jay Council, who is looks like a large, like a bouncer. He's Native American, and when the dude opened his mouth, it was like a young Michael Jackson, and everybody went, oh, it was incredible. But then he brought all of his friends up, and he said, I want to hear Yorkville sing along, and played a half hour of Tom Petty, and everybody it was incredible. So, yes, everybody that was in Yorkville at that time was blown away by Jay Council, and then Corey got up and just had a ball. So,
Nice.
once again, the riverfront was melted. It was awesome.
Wish I could have been there. Okay, any staff reports?
Just one, Your Honor. We have our 4th of July parade next Wednesday, and for city council members that want to join the city float, it'll be parked in front of the high school at 8:45 a.m. for the 9 a.m. parade. That's all we have.
And we'll be reaching out to Wrigley to get some Skittles to the house out.
Definitely.
We're going to double last year because we give everything away in the first block.
Right.
I unfortunately will be at Weeblo camp with one of these young men here, so I will not be at the 4th of July parade.
So un-American.
Weeblo camp, how can you get more American than Weeblo camp?
Let me tell you.
Yeah. Okay, then we do have a presentation, the city services survey. All right, we have 3.5
Did you say we have a
minutes.
short presentation?
Short, 3.5 minutes. See you, James.
I'm gonna beat Mama out of her meeting. I'm gonna beat my wife out of her meeting.
You are.
Yeah, we're not gonna do an executive session, so if anyone wants to leave, feel free. Yeah.
When I read this report, it's like Sin City. You know, the roads are bad 5 years ago, and then we work on the roads, and now the people are happy about the roads. And then we ignored something else, and now they're sad about that. It's like a real life Sim City game.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go over the 2017 survey results here. The actual report, the graphs from SurveyMonkey, and then the comments are all in the packet. I just wanted to hit a couple of the highlights. Just to recap, we opened this survey last year, almost. Closed it a few months later in the start of snowplow season, which reflects in the comments a little bit. It was password protected, so you got a password on your utility bill. We sent out random direct mailers to people, and anybody could call City Hall and just say, "Hey, my husband or wife took the the survey, and I want a new password to be able to take a second one," and we allowed that too. So that was only a handful of people. We did get 348 direct responses this year. That's more than we had the last time around, and a little bit lower than what we had in 2012 and 2013. So we've got to up our outreach the next time we chose to do it. 29 minutes, took everybody about 20 minutes to take the survey. So again, there's the link right here. It's got all the information that you can go through at your convenience. So a unique factor is the first question we just asked for satisfaction rates of every city service that we provide. Everything improved from the last survey. So some of them aren't statistically significant, but the fact that every one of the 20 or 30 services went up is a good sign. So all within historical norms, but it was nice to see positive movement there. We had a couple very high satisfaction ratings as usual. Refuse collection, people love garbage. They love the unlimited yard waste. They love the e-waste services that we provide. Police services, that's always ranked very high. The quality of the parks and the quantity of parks is always very high up on the list. So when you actually look at time series analysis between 2012 and 2017 when we've done this, we've seen significant improvement in maintenance of streets. So 47 got completed, and although that's not ours, that reflects a little bit in the comments, so I think that helps. Game farm was a big one, and then we've been doing a lot more in the subdivisions as things have popped up. And so that corresponds to flow of traffic and congestion management. So that has improved a little bit. So a little bit of improvement on recreation programming, stormwater, city communication with public. And then we actually saw a decrease in police services, response time, and then customer service during building inspections. But when you actually pour into the data, there were a significant number of people that responded NA or no comment to those ratings, which drags down your average rating from the past. So I don't know if it was a different group of people took the survey this time, and so they felt that NA was more appropriate than some of the other ones. I don't think that there was a methodology change in the question, so that's just a statistical anomaly more so than a lot of people saying that they're unhappy with it. So we ask everybody to rank where they think we should focus. Maintenance of streets, congestion management, always at the top, and it was again. Quality of water services is really bumped up. So I don't know if that's our regional supply efforts or if there's been some issue with water quality. That didn't really show up, in mass in the comments section, but you see things like that pop up every once in a while on Facebook or calling into City Hall. Quality of police services is always at the top. And then we saw that people really want us to focus on property maintenance services. So we've had a lot more calls especially in the downtown, for issues, and then more communication with your elected officials too. So we asked people to rank, what kinds of, general statements they would prefer us to focus on over others. Commercial development is always at the top, so even more so than manufacturing development, which is our current #1 city council goal. To keeping people informed, looking at attainable housing or even expansion of cultural activities. So that spread in Table 6, which is question 4 in the survey, hasn't really changed. So moving on a couple other tables forward. Same for, we asked people what do they think about quality of life in the city, services, image of the city, and the value that they get for their tax dollars. Those all improved from the 2015 survey. Again, some of them were statistically insignificant, but all 4 of them were shifts up, which is good. So, and we ask everybody, what do you like about living in Yorkville? What don't you? They always list major advantages as being their neighbors, the friendliness of their neighbors, the housing quality, location, schools. Those are always at the top. Neutral, recreational amenities, housing costs. You did see recreational amenities throughout the 4 years kind of fluctuate a little bit. I don't know if that's related to the rec center or if there's just people that are moving in now that maybe are used to different services. And then disadvantages, shopping and transportation always seems to be up there too. So we asked people to rate their agreement for some general statements. People think that it's a good place to raise kids, that it's safe here, that it's got a good sense of community, etc. They have a slight disagreement that it's a good place to retire. So I don't know if that's the state economic climate or the housing stock here, or maybe some of the recreational amenities that we might not have for seniors, but that's something that is lower on the list. So on communication, just tailoring our message out to residents on things that are going on. A lot of people are reading the utility bill inserts. So we've seen that grown significantly. Rob and I and Aaron and Tim have really had an outreach every bill that goes out bi-monthly to just say, is there something at the bottom of the bill that we can highlight? Is there a flyer that we can put in and make sure that we're using that opportunity with a captive audience, quite frankly, to be able to advertise services and events that are going on in the city. So the Facebook page is shooting way up. We see that in our admin reports every month. We see a lot more likes on there. People are seeing the newsletter too that ends up going into the catalog, which is good. We redesigned the website a few years ago, and it really hasn't registered with people. So maybe it's that we're not promoting it enough, but it hasn't seen the same increase that some of our other methods have been. And then the different media reports going up and down through the years is in there too. So residents always want us to recruit new shopping opportunities before pretty much any other land use in there, and that really hasn't changed since 2012. But what is new this year is that they want supermarkets before anything else. So they want new places to shop, new places to eat. So restaurants and specialty stores are way up there. And that's reflected in the specific businesses that are requested. Trader Joe's, Portillo's, Meijer, Costco, those are always at the top of the list too. Miscellaneous survey data. So we did go through and we asked for more detailed satisfaction ratings for Public Works, Public Safety, Communications, Parks and Recreation. Those are on the tables in the narrative reports in there in case you want to dive into those. And they mimic generally what you saw in the more general questions at the start of the survey. So just when you're looking at the demographics to make sure that we're reaching the right audience, we're noticing that people are living here a lot more often than they were in 2012. So you had a lot of people move in prior to the recession, and that's bearing out here in the data. Renters were properly represented in the survey group, which is good. So we actually direct mailed a survey password to every renter in the city, or every property in the city that's a rental property, because some of those people don't get utility bills. So we saw a good response there. Despite being a relatively young community, I think our average age in the last census was 32 or 33. The majority of our respondents were 50 years or older. So that's something that we need to correct in the future just to make sure that we're properly represented there. And then race and ethnicity groups were a little all over the board. So that's something that, as we're attracting a younger, demographic too, that hopefully we'll be getting a larger representation rate there. And then males and females were generally equivalent to what we had expect to see. So the results were valid. It's actually a slight improvement in demographics as far as it being representative of the city than we've seen in the past, even though we've had more respondents in the past. So it's something that we think our outreach efforts are working relatively well. So that's it as far as the highlights go. Email's up there if you have any questions afterwards for anybody in the public. And then the website is right there as well. So if anybody has questions, I'm happy to get into the narrative. Otherwise, it's there and you can email me at a later date. Thanks.
Any questions? No, it appears we're doing okay. I mean, moving everything in the right direction, it seems like. Alrighty, do we have any additional business?
I have one thing I want to bring up. Bart and I had a exchange of comments regarding the waste pickup schedule. I just want to talk about that briefly. I know I read through the contract, and you're right, you have the administrative ability to change the schedule, but can we talk about that real quick in terms of what the waste hauler is proposing and why?
Sure. The specific proposal that Advanced Disposal has proposed to me is to get rid of Wednesday garbage service day, shift it all to Tuesday. So that's generally Westbrook Meadows, Kylan's Ridge, a couple other places, just to meet some service efficiencies on their end. The contract recommends or requires a 30-day notice, city administrator approval, publication in the newspaper 2 times a week for 2 weeks in a row, and then within a 60 to 15-day window for those publications. So I reviewed it. They wanted to actually do the service change starting July 9th. I told them that isn't acceptable. It's too soon. And so we're trying to work out a different date to see if that's acceptable.
Okay.
So everybody who's on Wednesday would then be on Tuesday?
That's their proposal, yes.
Are you planning on letting people know that somehow?
Yeah, so they're suggesting in addition to the contract mandated public notice requirements, which actually requires written notice to each customer too. They would do that via postcard, so 30 days in advance. And then additionally, they were proposing to do hang tags in each one of the garbage bins. So I had proposed originally, and this was a few days ago, the week of July 23rd, so 2 weeks after they had expected. That'd be like 28 days under the contract, and they have not responded back. I think they were thinking that we were just going to approve the July 9th date, and we're not.
Because I looked at the map and I know which areas are affected by this. The hauler would be the one that's going to pay for all the notifications, the publishing for the notification in the paper, and anything if it's mailers or door hangers, whatever. We're not responsible for any of that. Okay. And there's no financial benefit, no benefit to the residents by doing this, correct?
Correct.
It's just this is accommodating something that the hauler wants. It makes it better for them for some reason, but we have no benefit to it.
Yeah, the hauler has let us know, and I had seen this in the data a couple years ago and seen news articles nationwide that the market for recyclables has significantly dried up with, I don't remember if it's tariffs or just regulations in China. And so what's happening is that recyclable material actually has to be much cleaner than it used to be. And it's posing some pretty significant hurdles for waste haulers around the country. So the market basically is closed up for recyclables. And so a lot of the things that our residents and residents around the country are recycling just can't be sold to somebody who can reuse them. And so it's actually costing garbage companies money to recycle now, whereas it used to be a significant revenue stream for them. And so I know that that has put a little bit of a pinch in their business model here and elsewhere.
I was going to say, are they still recycling and the material that they're collecting, are they separating and still recycling that material? Or
As far as I'm aware, yes. Okay. They didn't make any representations that they were doing anything else. And off the top of my head, I don't remember what the contract says specifically as far as recyclables go, other than they have to take it, obviously. So after that, I don't recall.
Just a quick question. Is there some sort of assurance that, it sounds like they're gonna obviously double up on their Tuesdays. So is there some sort of assurance that they're not still gonna be driving down the street at 9 o'clock at night, picking up garbage on Tuesdays and extending the day? Which now in the summer is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
In the winter, when it's already dark at 4 o'clock and
Sure.
people wanna go, bring their garbage cans in and things of that nature.
We didn't get into service time schedule. There was some brief back and forth on that they were going to be increasing staffing on Tuesdays, obviously, so that they can go somewhere else on Wednesday and get things done a little quicker. Honestly, the main point of the conversation back and forth was focusing on customer service issues that we've had with them. People putting out bulk items and then not being taken away, and them calling here saying, I didn't put a sticker on it, but the contract doesn't require it, and then them still not picking it up afterwards. So there's been some issues that have occurred that caused me reason for concern that I asked them to address first before we get into anything else.
To your point, Carla, the contract does have a very specific time window that they can work between in terms of early time and then the late. So it is specific to the contract. So they,
You know what it is? If you don't-
I think the end was 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah,
And I don't think they've ever-
6 a.m. start time.
Yes, it's not extremely early, but there is a window. It's in the contract. I don't have it in front of me right now. But it's set up. I didn't think it was unreasonable. I've never seen an issue with that. The only point I want to make is I know a lot of people get set in their ways. The notification process is definitely something that we want to monitor and see. Do we have some way of receiving feedback on this before it's just automatically done? Because once people get set in their ways, waste collection, obviously from the the survey, it's a big point of
I already
attention for
figured it
people.
out. You want me to tell you?
I want.
Trash shoes day. Trash shoes day.
I have bigger fish to fry, so I do have to leave.
Well, good, but I know we have residents that are going to have concerns. Anytime we talk about garbage, they yell. I mean, I know there are bigger issues that are out there, but residents do get caught up on trash. So,
But is there any advantage to the residents of not having garbage trucks on the road in the city on an additional day like Wednesday? Or is it offset by more trucks on the road on Tuesday?
Yeah, my
Kind of
sense is
a
that the
wash.
traffic, the overall traffic during the week probably won't change. It'll be a little bit more condensed, obviously, on Tuesday. You know, I guess the modest concern I had was that if there's no garbage trucks in the city at all on Wednesday, you know, what happens if somebody's missed something late on Tuesday and there's no trucks in the cities? I mean, you have to truck them into a different city. And they said, yes, they do that quite frankly almost everywhere else. So a lot of our other city contracts aren't a full week. And so for whatever reason, so our first contract was 2007. We must have qualified for it based on geography or, you know, growth patterns. And so I guess really the condensed schedule is more normal than not.
Okay.
but this,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
One more concern. So Monday's a holiday. They're gonna have a triple pickup on Tuesdays.
No, usually when there's a holiday, everything gets shifted
The whole week?
Yeah, correct.
Oh, day.
The whole week, okay. All right, so that was my concern, that Monday would be shifted, but, okay, so then, all right,
So then Tuesday would be Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay.
No. Trish Tuesday, what was it?
Trish Tuesday.
Been working on that for
For weeks.
But there's nothing that says we have to do this. We don't have to accommodate them if we don't want to. This is
No.
simply saying we're gonna work with them. There's no financial savings to the city. You know, we're not saying there's any benefit. You know, you have some concerns about how things have been handled in terms of the special pickups and whatnot.
Yeah, so I was inclined to grant the schedule change, provided they can give me some assurances that the customer service issues would be ironed out. More so just from a general operational perspective. And, you know, if they do that, then I was planning to approve it. But for comments to the contrary.
Okay, any other additional business? No executive session. Do we have any citizen comments? Hearing none, meeting adjourned.
Trish Tuesday. I'll get this.
I'm gonna run home and buy Tuesday.com.